Welcome to the Lust for Life podcast. My name's Tennessee and my husband is Jake. On this podcast, we like to document our week and different discussions and reflections that we've had throughout it. And this week was an exciting one for everybody. It was Christmas, and we decided to stay in North Carolina for Christmas instead of going back home to Utah. Jake just had a big test that he needed to study for, and it just wasn't going to work out that we were going to Utah this year. And it was relaxing, and we just spent time with each other and Lucy and hanging out during the day, and it was a good experience. And we did not get each other very many gifts. We got each other one gift each because the Iron Man kind of was our gift to each other, and that was well above our budget usually for Christmas. So I was super excited about Jake's gift. I ended up getting him first of all, a year ago, Jake walked into the Trek store, the bike store, and saw the shirts on the employees and was like, oh my gosh, those shirts are so sick. I want one. And I've always remembered that he'd wanted that. And so the Saturday before Christmas, I went to the Trek store, and I actually did not have the intention of getting this for him. The gift I did get for him, I had the intention of getting a shirt, like a bike jersey, that said Chapel Hill Trek on it. Like, I wanted something that said Chapel Hill on it to just, like, represent our time here in Chapel Hill, because we're about to move to Wilmington. And they just did not have a size. They didn't have very many options, and I just was kind of, like, stumped. And then one of the employees came up to me and was like, can I help you, like, figure it out? Like, let's, like, what can I do for you? Because he knew I was trying to figure out sizes and stuff. And I was like, I just need a shirt that says Chapel Hill Trek Store. And I'm like, wink, wink, the one you're wearing would be great. I didn't say that. But then he looked at me and was like, let me go look in the back. And so he went and looked in the back. And I had a feeling he was going to come out with an employee shirt. But I didn't know for sure. But then he did. And I was like, hey, like, that looks awesome. How much is it? You know? And he's like, oh, it's on the house. And I was like, no way. So I was really excited that I got Jake the exact shirt that he wanted. It just says Trek Chapel Hill, and it has like a North Carolina, like, state outline on it, and it has a star where Chapel Hill is. And so I was really excited, and I've been wanting to get the employees at the Trek store, like, a treat. So I was like, oh, I'll just go get him one right now. So I drove all the way down to Crumble, and then came all the way back and gave them the crumble cookies. And then they were like, wait, we forgot to ask you if you wanted a shirt. And so they gave me a shirt too. And they're so nice. They have helped us out so much. But that's what I got Jake for Christmas. And he kept asking, because he knew I went to the actually, he didn't know I went to the Trek store. I just told Jake when I came home, I was like, I want to get cookies for Trek or whatever. Because in between getting Jake's shirt, I actually came home and then went and got the cookies. So in between coming home, before getting the cookies, I told Jake, I just want to go get some crumble cookies for the Trek store for Christmas. And he was like, oh, like, are all the employees there today that are usually there? And I was like, no. And then he was like, how do you know? And I was like, oh, shoot. So he knew I was at the Trek store, but then I'm like, you can check the charges. I didn't buy anything. They didn't have what I wanted originally. And so he did not know what I got him for Christmas until he opened it on Christmas. So
it was quite the surprise.
It was. You loved it.
Yeah, I wore it like a lot of days in a row. It was good.
It's a soft, good-looking shirt.
Then for Tennessee, I say she's been into reading books lately, a bunch of murder mystery books, and so somehow the algorithm got tailored towards me, where all of a sudden this ad popped up about, oh, do your own detective mystery thing at home. They send you this, like, kit with all these case files and interrogation reports, autopsy reports, all this stuff, and you're supposed to solve the mystery on who murdered the person or whatever.
It takes like hours.
And so I was like, oh, Tennessee will love this. So I buy it on December 13th, and we didn't get it till after Christmas because it was stuck in Lithuania the whole time. But we got it, and then I got it too for Tennessee to be able to keep herself occupied, because I'm studying for just a big test for the next 6 weeks. And so she did the first one, and then she got like a little bit in and realized they were missing. What was they missing on the first one? An autopsy report on the first one?
Like
The police interrogation report.
Yeah, the interrogation report.
Yeah, they were missing the interrogation report. So she's like, I kind of need that. So anyways, we did a second one. You then started a second one, and I joined in on the second one on Sunday
missing
yesterday.
Report too.
Yeah, but then they ended up because you started on Saturday and then it was missing a report, and so you emailed them. They didn't send it to you till like Sunday night or whatever. So then I jumped in and did it with you, and I thought that was fun.
When you have all the materials, it's great.
We had all the materials and then it was fun. And then
it was fun. And it was just frustrating when you get like 2 hours in and you're like, I can't solve this without that paper.
But then there was another one, and I don't know how this. We figured that we thought we solved the mystery. Like, all right, I think it's this person, and then we opened up the like final envelope, and it was like nobody that we suspect. Like, what in the world? It was just like we were missing
a paper.
Yeah, we were missing something again, and so we're like, what in the world?
And we didn't realize we were missing. Anyway,
and a
it was still fun. It's just I still love your gift. It's just frustrating when it's like hours and hours of like. I'm literally taping these papers on the wall, like it's covering our whole wall, and then I'm like, I'm missing a report. And then like they send like a QR code to say, scan this QR code if you're missing any of the files, so you can just get access to it. And so we scan the QR code on all of them, and none of the QR codes are active. And so we're like, oh my gosh. And so it was still fun. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, the second one.
I was a little frustrated.
When we had all the stuff, that was a fun one to do.
Yeah, that one was a good one. And it was fun to do it together. The third one was just kind of frustrating altogether, but it was still fun. It was just hard because we didn't have the paper, but anyway, it's still good. But we just kind of chilled on Christmas. We tried to do a bike ride, but my knee is still kind of acting up, and so we had to turn around early.
Oh, we made these awesome gingerbread a cookie.
We made one giant cookie.
It was a Scottish Terrier.
And we shaped it into a Scottish Terrier.
And it was good.
Looked
up a gingerbread recipe. Got some molasses. Don't think I've ever bought that before. It called
for how much molasses?
3/4 cup.
3/4 of a cup. And I'm like that, and you could taste it. So the second batch we did another batch. We lessened the molasses, and it tastes significantly better. The molasses does kind of cook out a little bit, like that sharp taste.
But it was a fun Christmas activity.
Yeah, still super fun. I feel like we did something else too. Watched a movie. But I can't remember what movie.
It was some murder mystery one. Invitation to Murder.
Invitation to a Murder.
That got you fired up to do your projects.
I was motivated, yes. And then, but yeah, that was our Christmas. And then you just jumped right back into your school studying. But, like, my knee just was not acting well. So I had a doctor's appointment today to see. There was nothing significant on the x-ray, which I guess is good. But I have an MRI scheduled for next week just to make sure everything is fine and it's just my IT band and I just need to cool it and do more physical therapy on it. But I just want to make sure it's nothing else and I don't want to like keep injuring myself. So, but yeah, that was our week. And then anything else you remembered we did?
No, I was reflecting on, as always, Ironman Florida and what happened, what went wrong, how I could improve. And so I went back and I started looking at the data
every week
from each of the events. And after the swim, because I noticed like my big thing is what I realized was, I was like, I thought I calculated out right, but I'm like, I just didn't fuel enough or eat enough food and I was dehydrated was like the big thing I concluded. But I went back and I started looking at the stats. After the swim, my watch estimated that I burnt 1,100 calories. And I did not take that into account. For some reason, I just anticipated the swim, and it's just a swim, just 2.4 miles. It's chill, easy, maybe like 200 calories. Nothing for me to even have to like worry about. But that was over 1,000 calories I burned on the swim, and I didn't even like
acknowledge.
I didn't even acknowledge that, recognize it, take anything in to try to like counter that. So I'm already starting the bike at an 1,100 calorie deficit. And so that, I think, played a huge role.
Do you think it would be helpful, like, luckily for us, our swim was, we were able to run on the beach, get some water or whatnot. Do you think it'd be, like, helpful to, like, carry a gel with you, float on your back?
I don't think so, because like, the swim's just, it's just over an hour.
So you just load up before, load up after, and you should be fine.
Yeah.
But even, like, one gel, just, and then
I don't think you need to. I think you're fine just for after.
I might do that.
It's just over an hour. I mean,
That's true.
It's not much time. I think the amount of time it will take to do that, you're right at the start of the race too. I think you'll be fine if you just do it after. But anyways, so we have our big, all like, before you start your clinical rotations in medical school, you have to pass this first like national board exam. And so I took like a practice test for it, and I didn't do as well as I would have liked. And so we have like 6 weeks or 8 weeks to study for it. And so I'm going to have to study more than I originally anticipated. And so it was just really hard just going through the schedule, looking at the time frame and everything. And I had to come to the hard conclusion that I won't be able to compete in Ironman Texas, which is what I wanted to do, kind of like my redemption ride from Florida. So I won't be able to do it this year. In 2027, though, I will be able to compete in it. So
you can see Jake there in 2027.
Yeah, so catch me there in 2027 as of now. So, but that was hard. It was hard for me something I wanted so bad. I had to like
you have to sacrifice.
Yeah, I had
other things.
Yeah, because I mean, you get to choose what you want to sacrifice. So either I sacrifice that Ironman Texas, so I can do well in school, or I sacrifice my school success for Ironman Texas, and that the rest of my life banks on how well I do on this test and then my classes the next few years in school. And so, but I could do the Ironman Texas whenever, and so it was hard to come to that conclusion, but I think it's the right choice.
Yeah, that was a hard decision, and it's like a very, like you said, it's just what do you like to sacrifice? What Lucy's doing her thing. She likes to roll around on the ground and make growling noises. But like you said, it's just, you get to choose how and what to sacrifice throughout your life. It's just another big decision, and like where your priorities truly at. Ironman's fun, but we have other priorities in our lives, and sometimes it just has to happen.
It's like yesterday, we watched a movie called Red One, and we just watched it because it had Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it.
We love Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And it was just like, it was a cool idea of a movie, I think. I'd recommend it. I thought it was a fun movie.
It was a fun idea, and it was just creative, and it got a little weird sometimes, but I'm like, Christmas movies are weird sometimes.
Yeah, but in it, he was talking to a guy who was a level 4 naughty lister. And that's like, I think that's about as bad as you can get on the naughty list from how they made it sound like. But The Rock said something like, you weren't put on that list, you chose to be on that list. And man, I thought that line was so good. It literally is everything in life. You can choose everything that happens to you in life. Like, well, I mean, yes, some outside events obviously happen, but you can choose how you respond to it, and you can choose what you do each day, and you can choose, like you said, Tennessee, what you sacrifice, and you choose how you want to be happy. And like, there's so many things. We have so much more control over our lives than we think.
Yeah, I also was actually going to bring that up. Where it's a choice. It's you chose this consequence, and this consequence, like in your case, you're choosing to pursue, do well in school, and because that is ultimately what your priority is, and your priority is to, not only love your job, but get the residency that you want and have a stable job to provide for our family, which is both of our priorities. And so, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson says, we choose that. We choose our decisions. The consequences don't usually just happen. Consequences are things that happen after we make a choice, whether they're good or bad. So
most of the time, you know what that consequence will be before you make a choice.
Most of the time, we know what the consequences will be. And when you make a choice, I guess that's part of, like, making a choice is just accepting that there might be consequences, whether they happen or not. Whether they happen right after the choice or years down the road. You build habits or whatever. they all have consequences. But yeah, that movie was really good. I was actually going to bring that up because we talked about it on our walk, and this is like, that's one of, we just have conversations like that, especially when we walk Lucy, just about, you know, different ideas that we have. But another thing that happened this week was, you sent me a video about Caitlin Clark.
Absolute baller.
Yeah, she's amazing. About her getting the Athlete of the Year award. And in the video, it talked about how she holds the record for the most points scored for a rookie, which is impressive. And then she also holds the record for most assists ever in WNBA, like in one season. So I was just like really thinking about that, because what is an assist? Assist is you're assisting somebody for success. You're setting somebody up for success. And to be able to set that many people up for success is a much bigger trophy to me than scoring the most points in one season of the WNBA. To me, I feel like that's an award that I would rather have. Not that either one is good or bad, but that's an award I would want to have in life too. Is I want to be successful, don't get me wrong, but I also want to be successful in helping others and setting others people up for success and helping others with my skills to help them succeed. And I would hope others do the same for me, and others have done the same for me, and just building that community of assisting, which I just think that concept is so cool. And like, to me, I feel like the most assists in a season is a much bigger trophy than the most points, and that's usually not celebrated. In, you know, I grew up playing soccer. I couldn't tell you who all the assists were from, but I could tell you who scored. It's just you naturally don't recognize who the assister is. It's just usually not, you know, broadcasted as much, but it really is the most important piece.
That reminded me, when I was sick, I think I wasn't on the last podcast, but you said you mentioned when I was like super sick. But anyways, I was wrecked. And I had like 5, I don't know how many I had, a decent amount, 100 flashcards I needed to go over that day. And I was like, man, I can't do it. I'm just absolutely wrecked. And then one of my friends texted me and he said, don't let it beat you, like the sickness. And he was just saying it, I think, just to be like nice, like, you got it, like, hope you get feeling well soon. But I was like, man, he's right, I can't let it beat me. So it was like all day grind. I would do like 10 here, and then I'd be exhausted and lay down, and then wake up, do 10 more, and then back. But I wouldn't have done it if he didn't send that text. So even just like little things of encouragement go a long way with assisting others.
Yeah, I mean, there takes all different forms. You know, encouragement, physically assisting others, or connecting somebody with somebody you know, or it could be so many different things. Giving a gift that you've found helpful and to help them, finding resources for others. There's so many different things. And Caitlin Clark I've just loved following her journey this year. She's just such a phenomenal player, but just a phenomenal person. She just knows how to just play her game and shut others out and just focus on why she's there. And she truly is there because she loves basketball. And I think we lose sight of why we do things sometimes. We like to do things because we love it. And when we forget that, when we start focusing on revenue and money, and we lose the love of why we do something, that we're not setting ourselves up for success for that, and we tend to get burnt out. But Caitlin Clark has just been so cool to watch how she addresses, you know, the haters, and how she just plays her game. And she's just been a really cool example for everybody, especially women in women's sports. She's done so much.
Yeah, I have nothing but like great things to say. I'm so impressed with her as an athlete.
You cannot hate her.
Yeah.
You cannot hate her. She just has been so impressive. Well, I think that's everything for this week. Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah. At Christmas Eve, we had the funnest dinner. We had we had 9, these people that Tennessee work with,
and I actually kind of do research with him as well. Their family invited us over to their house for Christmas Eve dinner. They're from Brazil. They had their like Brazilian friends over too, and so it was cool to have like a traditional Brazilian meal for Christmas Eve. It was so fun.
It was truly 100% Brazilian.
Yeah, and they were just so nice and friendly the whole night and made everyone feel welcome and at home. It was just so kind that they invited us over, but we just had the funnest time.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and Jake's brother served his mission in Brazil. So after we called him and told him all the dishes we had, and um, he told us how he ate the same ones in Brazil, so it was kind of fun to be able to share that. But they were truly such a sweet family. They just have a beautiful family, and they've got 2 doggies. One of the dogs, Brownie.
They got 3 dogs.
Oh yeah, 3. Well, they're so funny. They have 3 dogs. What's the breed of the little one?
A Pomeranian.
Pomeranian. He's like 15 or 14. They say he just lives upstairs under the bed. Upstairs, and they put a little pee pad under the bed, and they put his food under the bed, and he does not leave from under the bed.
It's a little troll.
He just is a troll under the bed. And then they just have such different personalities. Then there's Brownie, and he's kind of the mischief one. And during dinner, nobody saw him, but we brought cinnamon rolls with like a cup of frosting, and nobody saw him jump up on the counter. He like snuck the frosting, and then he ran outside, and nobody knew where he was. And then we saw our frosting was missing, and then he was outside finishing the cup of frosting, which was pretty funny. So he had like a glorified pup cup for Christmas, and it was actually quite a bit of frosting, so I would not be surprised if he was like sick the next day. And then there's Harry. He's the golden retriever, and he just sat. They're not allowed by the dining table. They like know where their limits are, so he just sat outside the dining table the whole time, and then every once in a while he'd give a woof to remind everyone he was there. And then they're just really funny. We just love dogs. And then Lucy gave Bruce, Brownie, and Harry a Christmas card for Christmas. But yeah, it was a really fun Christmas Eve. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to try out one of our detective games.
Oh yeah, we have I'll give you all 3 of them. I put them back where I didn't write on any of them, and I put all the stuff back in together so other people could attempt at it too. But yeah, anything else?
No, I can't think of anything. It's just going to be a good week of grinding.
Yeah. We're just finishing up the last couple months here in Chapel Hill, and then we're heading off to Wilmington. But yeah, that was our week. Thanks for joining. We publish these episodes every Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.